Few things to note here. Let's see if I can get there. Come on. Okay, there we go. Now you can see my feet. So once we actually start working here, we're going to be working down into flexion of the hip. Anytime we're working in flexion, we want to be mobilizing to the back of the socket, posterior. Okay, talking about hamstrings today. Just gonna run through some very basic mobilizations. The first one is kind of a priority. After that, there's basically just kind of pick and choose options, whatever you feel most comfortable with. So, first one, band around the low anchor point. This is gonna go high around the hip of the leg that you're trying to mobilize. So, if I'm banded on the right leg, my right leg is out in front. First thing we're gonna do here, drive the knee forward and then come back to lockout. So once we actually start working here, we're going to be working down into flexion of the hip. Anytime we're working in flexion, we want to be mobilizing to the back of the socket, posterior. So first thing we're doing, driving the knee out, let yourself come back, basically just trying to get the head of the femur a little bit further back into that hip capsule. You'll do this for 15-20 seconds. Then after you finish that, lock out that front leg, and then you're going to hinge yourself over, trying to get a stretch of the hamstring of that front leg, but we're trying to get that stretch with the hip and the femur in a better position. So trying to mobilize in a better position than we normally are. Few things to note here. Let's see if I can get there. Come on. Okay, there we go. Now you can see my feet. Few things to note on the trailing leg. You want the feet to be lined up forward and you want the hips to be square. If anything, so I'm mobilizing on the right leg. If anything, think about driving the left part of the hip down towards the right foot. That's gonna square your hips up. You'll feel that in the hamstrings, especially once you're down loaded into this position. You don't want the hip to be opened up. A good cue of that is if that back foot is turned off to the side, those hips are gonna be opened up. You're not in the right position. So, toes pointed forward, hips are square, and then you drive yourself down, start mobilizing. Get down here, I usually hold for about 30 seconds. Once I'm down in my end range position, I'm just gonna focus on the breath. Big inhale. 4 to 5 second exhale. I do that for about 30 seconds and I'll come up, sort of reset the knee, drive forward another few times, go back down. I'd spend about 3 minutes total on each leg. So the at-home version, two different variations, because I realize not everyone has kind of a resistance band with enough resistance to kind of actually influence the hip capsule. That's like 120 pounds of resistance, and not everyone has anchor points in their house as well. So at-home version, number one, start in a kneeling position, sit yourself back into the heels. Then you're gonna kick out one leg in front of you, heels on the ground, toes up towards the ceiling. From here, you're just trying to drive yourself down forward, get this hamstring on the leg that's kicked out straight. You get a little bit of downward pressure, so you're mobilizing a little bit down towards the back of the hip capsule. Better than a traditional hamstring stretch on the ground. So, if you can do that version, do that. If you have trouble with an ankle range of motion to sit back like this, use a roller, or really anything. You can use a pillow, just anything to prop yourself up a little bit more. Same basic idea. This is just gonna help with the ankle range of motion. Kick out the opposite leg, heels on the ground, toe up towards the ceiling. Lock yourself out here, and then drive yourself down and forward. Same thing with the breathing. Once I hit my end range, big controlled inhale, nice slow, long, controlled exhale, 4 to 5 seconds. As you're exhaling, try to get yourself to relax and establish a new end range. Okay, so that first mobilization with the green band from the low anchor point, posterior distraction, that's where I start everyone when I'm trying to do anything with the hamstrings. After that, you can kind of pick and choose. I'm gonna show a handful of options now. Everything's done from your back, just a few other hamstring options. Just kind of try them all, see which one you like, and then just work another 2 to 3 minutes on each leg through 1 or 2 of these mobilizations. First one, band is looped around the foot. In frame, I'm in frame. Now, we're down. So pull yourself up to end range, lock out, toes pulled down towards you, opposite leg is out straight. From here, find your end range. Then with the opposite leg, you're gonna pull the heel in towards the butt. So as you pull the heel in, you're gonna get more range on the banded leg that you're stretching. Then from here, use the band, grab on, try to block yourself and hold this new end range as you slowly kick out the opposite leg. So that's gonna be the stretch. It's not when you pull the heel in. That's gonna give you a little bit more slack in the system. So you pull yourself to a new end range, then you try to hold that range as you kick the other leg back out to extension. That's number one. Try that for 2 or 3 minutes on each leg. Number 2. Second one, off leg is still out and straight. This leg you pull to your end range, toes pulled down towards you, you're in lockout. From here, pull the knee in towards the chest. Hold that for a second or two, and then you're trying to kick yourself back up to that end range position. Basically, as you pull the knee in, you're getting the hamstring to turn off, and then you're activating as you kick back up. Anytime you get back to your end range, start tying in the breathing again. Big controlled inhale, slow long exhale. As you exhale, that's when you want to be trying to pull yourself another inch, half an inch, 1 centimeter, establishing a little bit more range in that position. So again, 2 to 3 minutes per leg on that one, pulling the knee into the chest and then actively kicking yourself back up to that end range. All under control, don't violently kick back up. That's how you tear a hamstring. Third one, still working in the band. This one, same starting position, lockout, toes pulled in towards you, off leg is out and straight. From here, you're gonna be driving your heel down towards the ground. You're using the band as active resistance. From this position, it's hard to activate the glute, but if you can, try to use the glute to drive yourself down. Get an isometric hold down at the bottom, 3 or 4 seconds, squeezing the butt as hard as you can. As you come up, you're trying to totally disengage. One of the things that can happen is when you're stretching and you're up here, the glute is kind of tight. So as you activate it, trying to drive that heel down towards the ground, and then you come back up and consciously try to release it. That's gonna, so I'm not sure where I was, my SD card just filled up and it stopped recording automatically. I think I was saying on that third one, you just need to get that glute to kind of disengage. If you can get that glute to totally turn off as you're trying to stretch the hamstring on the way up, you're gonna get a little bit more range. So any of those mobilizations I was doing with the blue band, 2 to 3 minutes per side, I'd always do those after you do the mobilization, where you're actually trying to get the hip into a better position with that green band. Try them out, see which ones you like, see which ones you don't like, hopefully it helps.